Last time I talked about the parable of the yeast. I wanted to continue on this actually in the same chapter where Jesus talks about 3 different parables. I wanted to break each one down with us here today. This is in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 44. The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field, which someone found and hid. Then, in his joy, he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. When it comes to investing, one of the things that you'll hear from people from all over the investing spectrum is the importance of diversity. That you do not have all of your stock in one asset, that you do not have everything in cash or in bonds or in stocks or in raw materials or in metals, but instead that you have a diversity of a portfolio that is to keep you safe. There's no sense of that desire for diversity in that particular sense in this parable. Jesus compares the kingdom of heaven, that being with, that indwellingness with God, to somebody who finds a treasure hidden in a field, sells everything he has, and then goes and buys that field so that he can rejoice in that treasure. It's an interesting thing because we don't really come across buried treasure out here in southwestern Minnesota very frequently. I mean, you could argue that the soil is a treasure in its own way, but usually that's not like a secret. Not like Jesus is describing in this parable. And what Jesus is getting at here is that being a Christian is something that kind of consumes us. It's something that can take over every element of our life. Not even if we're trying to, honestly. There are times where you might be attending a Bible study, or you might listen to a sermon, or you might just be talking with another member here, and that has a profound impact on you. An impact on the way maybe you raise your kids, or an impact maybe on the way you are at work, or the way you are with friends. The kingdom of heaven, that Holy Spirit that comes to us, is something that is profound. It is something that can overcome every other element of our life. Just like this man in this story sold everything that he had so that he could have these riches. So too that happens with us from time to time, where we realize that everything that we have is wrapped up in our identity as a Christian, wrapped up in following Christ. And that is not something that we should be afraid of. That is something that we can rejoice. Something that, as I think we invest more and more into our life as a Christian, we start to understand how rich we can really become. Thanks be to God.